All right. Hello, hello. Sound testing. Pop, 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 pop. Looks like we're good. What about background noise? I have the AC blasting right now. Hold on. Ooh, looks like the noise reduction is working well. Okay, so I think we can do this. Yes, let's do this. Hello, hello, welcome everyone. My name is Jose Luis. This is Parametric Camp. We do computational design, live streams. We just go online, we nerd out with code and design and creative things and 3D things, and then we make videos out of it. If you want to learn more about what we do, we have social media. We are particularly active on Instagram and Discord. If you want to join our Discord server to have a conversation going on over the weekend, over while we're not streaming, there's a link to this to the Discord server on the description of this video. And if you want to know when we go live, there is also a Google Calendar on the description of this video that you can subscribe to figure out when we go live. Which, by the way, reminds me to tell you that yes, we are live. We typically go live Friday mornings. However, I have something going on tomorrow morning, so I can't live stream. So I thought of moving it to today, which is 4th of July here in the US where I live. So I have the morning off. I don't know what I'm doing this afternoon. Maybe I'll go watch the fireworks. But yep, why not just do some live streaming this morning? Okay. And I see my face is changing colors. Yeah, warmer, clearer, warmer, wider. Why is that? I think I have the white balance in the camera in auto mode. Can I take a look at that real quick? Where do I have that? Well, maybe I'm not gonna take a look at that right now, but I need to take a look at that at some point. I'll take a look at that at some point. Anyway, if you are new to the channel, please feel free to say hi. I know. That's exactly what I need to do probably. I'm just not gonna do it right now. Am I? Okay, let me see. Hold on. Logitech options. Webcam. Is it in the properties? Yeah, I don't have it in here. Low light compensation. No. Exposure, focus, zoom. Yeah, I need to. Oh, oh wait, here. Nope. Oh, I found it. Hold on. So this is no white balance. This is warm, and this is oh no. And I think I want to be here. Is this too much? Is this too much? Maybe? Where was I? Yes. Here. Maybe here? Yeah, and now there's no white balance. Yep. How is this for the warmth of my flesh? Is it good? Not good? Okay, fantastic. All right, so what are we doing today? So if you remember last time we went live, which was 2 weeks ago, because last week I was very sick and I couldn't, I was in bed with fever for 3 days. So 2 weeks ago, we took a look at the Beegraphy editor, all right? And we also announced that there's this competition for, let me actually go back to that. So just as a reminder to everyone, so exactly, there you go. So I just want to remind everyone that right now, as of, what is it, July 2024, there is a competition going on organized by the Beegraphy folks, which is an online parametric modeling editor, which I'm going to talk about and we're going to record some videos for today. And that the competition is basically open to everyone. There's no fee for participation. There's 10 categories. It basically boils down to modeling something cool within those categories, and you may get a category award or you may get an overall all categories award. I think it's a really cool opportunity to just basically try out the editor, which is very nice, make something cool, maybe get some recognition. I know. So I really, really suggest you give this a try. All right. So what we're going to do today is, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you remember, but in the last live stream that we did here, we basically, why do I get ads on my own channel? On the last live stream we did, we basically played around with the Beegraphy editor, okay, and then we made the Holocaust memorial exercise, and then we made another exercise just to try it out, okay? So what I would like to do today is, I had a plan somewhere. What is this? Yes, I had a plan for 4 videos that I wanted to make. I want to make a like a short series of intro to Beegraphy videos, and this should be very short. So intro to the editor, then the 2 examples that we did last week, like a bit more streamlined that last week, because last week I was just like trying on and off, etc. And then just make like a small thing. So I would like to do that today. Hello, folks. Hi, Nicholas. Hi, Paras. Yes. So that's pretty much what we're going to do today. So, oops, I need, what is, hold on, the green screen. Yes, exactly. Beautiful. Where was I? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to Beegraphy. We're going to log in, parametrical. Yes. It needs to be verified. What are you talking about? I thought I verified this a while ago. Okay, well, I'll verify this, whatever. Wait, what do you mean I don't have any models? Ah, yeah, because this is not, okay, yeah. Sorry. It should be, no. That's exactly, I see. Let me log in properly. No, so info at parametric game, and then this is going to be, yeah, let's save it. Okay, so that's why I didn't have it registered. Okay, so 4 videos we're making today, 4 short videos. General intro to the Beegraphy editor. So that's going to be a simple video where we're going to just basically introduce people to how to get to the editor, where things are, the menu bar, and maybe draw some comparisons with Grasshopper real quick. It should be 10 minutes tops. And then we're gonna make the pear necklace exercise. I did it last week. So yes, I did it last week. So it should be here. Exactly. And then we're gonna do the Berlin Holocaust Memorial, and we're gonna do the same thing we did, but a bit more streamlined, so less back and forth. And then what I want to do, which is also, in my opinion, one of the most interesting features of Beegraphy, is the market. So I want to try taking one of those models to the market so that people can just use the UI, right, to customize, you know, and download whichever model. This is, what is this? This is very, oh, this is very nice. To customize the model and then just download a version of it, you know, down, etc. Yeah, which I think it's, again, to me, it's one of the coolest features. It's one of the most powerful features. The fact that you can make a parametric definition, a parametric model, and then just make it accessible and usable to everyone for download super fast, you know, with this very interesting UI. So that's going to be the intro that I want to do. So let's get started then. So I'm going to then, now what is this? Yep. I'm going to, why am I not? Okay. Okay, here. Okay, so we're going to start here in the first intro video. And the first intro video was going to be general short intro. So what am I going to do? I'm going to say, this is Beegraphy. It's July 2023. So if you're watching this in the future, maybe things have changed. But right now, oh, and I want to make like a short intro to the series. In the first video, we're going to focus on the editor, and then on the editor, I'm just going to make a new model. It's going to be blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have here the window. You're going to have here the components, sequence, tools, etc. And then exporter, yeah, which we will talk about when we talk about the market, I think. Yes, we're going to do that. And then here we're going to, all right. Okay, so then let me just delete this thing. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Okay, so then let's go to here. Beautiful. Any questions? Oh, Michael, good to see you. It's been a while. Bella. Hey, is this Sue? Ooh, nice to see you. Hello. All right, let's do this. Let me get started. What are we going to call the series? Introduction to Beegraphy, to the Beegraphy platform. I'm going to call it the platform because of the editor. What is Beegraphy? The API. I really want to get access to this one. Learning, are you around? I really, really want beta access to the API. Please, please, can I get it? Can I tinker around with this? This is by far the part that I'm more excited about personally when it comes to Beegraphy. Oh yeah, Learning is here. You see? You call his name 3 times, boom, he shows up. Learning. All right, so maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a quick intro video to the Beegraphy platform, editor market, and then we're going to make an intro to the editor, which is going to be here. Okay, yes. So we're going to do, so let's do that. Exactly. Beautiful. Hey, Learning, Arastu. Good to see you too. I'm very happy to see so many people here. Very nice, very nice. All right, so let's do it. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to the first video in a small series that I want to do about the Beegraphy platform. All right, so in this video, what I would like to do is introduce you to this new project. I'm recording this video in July 2024. So at this point, this is very new. If you're watching this from the future, it is not so new. Okay, I didn't like that where it was going. Let's start over again. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to the first video in a small series that I want to record about this new project that is being developed as of the recording of this video in July 2024 that is called the Beegraphy platform. And it's a project I'm actually quite excited about for the reasons that I would like to show you along these videos. But what is Beegraphy first? So Beegraphy is this project that is basically an online computational design platform. What does that mean? It is, on one hand, it is an online editor for parametric modeling. So think of it as Grasshopper, but purely web-based. So everything that you do it with your browser. You don't have to install anything, download anything, blah, blah, blah. But then it's not just that. It's a platform because it allows other things to connect to this editor. And one of the features, for example, that I'm more excited about these days is the market. The market is basically this tool that allows you to take a definition or a model that you have created in the online editor, and then basically create this very simple UI that allows anyone to use that model without actually accessing all the components and the definition, etc., etc. So it's basically like a one-click sort of way to publish your definition and make it accessible and usable to a larger, perhaps not expert community. So I think it's a really nice tool. I've been playing around with it for a few weeks now. It has the online modeler, it has the marketplace to make models accessible to everyone for 3D printing, for rendering, etc. It has the API, which basically will allow people to integrate this functionality in other apps. The API is very heavily under development and as of the recording of this video. And right now also there's a competition going on actually. So what I would like to do in these videos is I would like to give you like a crash course or like a really, really quick introduction into what Beegraphy can do. Okay, so I'm going to then move on to the next video in this series where I'm going to start showing you the capacities of the editor. And the way I'm going to do is by very quickly explaining how it works and then moving on right away to hands-on examples. All right. If you want to learn more about Beegraphy, just go to beegraphy.com. And if you are interested in this series, this video is going to be the first video of a playlist. So you can there's probably a link to the full playlist here in the description of this video, and otherwise there's probably a link to the playlist that is going to be popping up somewhere in the corner of this video as we speak right now. Okay, beautiful. So without further ado, and also friendly reminder, this is July 2024. If you're watching this from the distant future, then maybe Beegraphy is already taking over the world. And these videos are super redundant, but maybe you can just watch them as a historical kind of moment where Beegraphy took over, you know? Anyway, I think I'm digressing here. So let's move on to the next video where I'm going to show you the basics of the Beegraphy editor. See you in the next video. Bye. All right. Yassine, Nareen, a lot of new people today. Very good to meet you. How are you doing? Okay. I'm gonna need at some point to take a break and basically basically take some what happened? Basically take some snapshots of me like making some faces, whatever, so that I can take screenshots of the Beegraphy editor and make thumbs for the videos. Anyway, another digression here. All right, so the first video that we're going to do is, it's going to be the editor. Okay. So, the editor. Okay, so for the editor, what are we going to do? I'm going to go on the editor. I'm going to click. I'm going to make a new model. And then when we get to the new model, what am I going to do? I'm just going to do like a box, for example. Maybe we can just make a box centered on some point and then with some sliders. All right, that can probably be the simplest way of getting into this. All right. All right, let's do it. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video in this series, Introduction to Beegraphy. I think that's what we're going to call it. And in this video, I would like to take our first look at the online parametric modeling editor that Beegraphy allows us. All right, it's a very cool project, so let me show you how it works. So I'm already logged in. I created an account on Beegraphy, and you can see that as you land on the website, there's these two main options that are given to you: the editor and the market. I'm definitely going to take a look at the market later because I really like the feature, but we're going to start by the beginning, which is the editor. If you click on the editor, then you're basically going to land into this dashboard of whatever models you have made previously. If you're new to the platform, you have no models whatsoever, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new model, and I'm going to call this like intro to the editor, for example. All right. And the moment I click on that, then I am thrown right away into the online parametric modeler that the folks at Beegraphy have been developing. All right. So the way I'm going to phrase this is going to be by comparison with probably one of the most popular parametric modelers out there right now as of the recording of this video, which is Grasshopper. Okay, so it's basically what we have here is basically this online canvas where I can drop components, right? Similar to what I would do in Grasshopper, and each component basically representing a function of some kind. A function that takes inputs, it takes data, for example, a couple numbers, and then performs some operation on that data, like multiplying them, dividing them, creating a point out of those numbers, etc., etc. Now, what you will notice, though, is that the main difference with other desktop-based parametric modelers that actually integrate into a real 3D modeler is that here we have both things combined. So what we have is, on one hand, we have this screen viewer, if you will. I'm actually going to move this to the left-hand side so that it's out of my way here. All right. You have this online view, which represents the 3D model that we're creating. And then we have this bar with all the components that we can use. So for example, if you click here, you have all the mathematical operators. If you click here, you have a bunch of list components, which basically are useful for manipulating data streams. Tool is where most of the geometry operations are. So you have curves, vectors, surfaces, triangulation, Delaunay's, Voronoi, solids, etc., etc. And you have a few other components like exporter. We will see this when we talk about the market. And for example, inputs. So do you have sliders? Do you have a Boolean slider? Do you have a mathematical expression, etc., etc.? All right. And just to show you how simple and intuitive this is, what I would like to do is I would like to model a simple box that is centered on a point. All right. Okay, and before we do that, I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Okay, so let's continue then. So if I want to model a box, the first thing I would like to look for is for some kind of component that allows me to create boxes, right? I could just go here to tools, here, and then probably under solid, there's like box by 2 points, box by center, box. So probably box by center is the one that I'm looking at. And you can already see that the moment I drop this on the canvas, I already get this representation of that box in my 3D viewer. And remember, the 3D viewer, I can make it full screen, I can change the shadings, I can give it some, I can turn off, I can turn off the grid, for example. I can do top view, I can do front view, perspective view. It's actually quite nice. All right. And then but if I don't know where to find things, or if I don't want to sit down and just look through all the possible options because it's a little overwhelming, something that we can also do is I can just double click on the canvas and then this drop down search box will show up. So I can now type here box, and then you can see that I have a bunch of options for what can I do with boxes. So for example, I can do box by center, which is the one that I had before. Okay, you can see that right now the box is centered in the origin. It has a width of 5, length, height. So I probably want to customize the dimensions. The way I do that, for example, is with Grasshopper is using a slider. Here in Beegraphy, sliders are called range inputs. Okay, so if I click on range input, you can see that now I get a slider that I can customize. So for example, this is going to be 10 and this is going to be in increments of 0.1. Okay, and I'm also going to double click here to say box width. You know, I am very OCD about, so I'm going to plug this in here. Okay, and then I am going to now plug this in here, and I'm getting an error. The it has to be greater than 5, than 0. Okay, so box, this is going to be the length. And now this is going to be the height, correct? And you saw that I did that by basically copy pasting, right? So now I have width control, height control, and length control. Beautiful. And you can also see that here under the origin, in the origin, I have an input of the type point, which means that I can control as well where the center of this box is. So then maybe what I want to do is I want to customize that center by creating a point manually. So let's go to point and construct a point by XYZ coordinates. So right now that point is centered at 0, 0, 0. But if I do the same thing and I set a range input and I copy paste this 3 times, right? And I said it's going to be X, it's going to be Y, it's going to be Z. And now I can control the location of this box. All right. Beautiful. So that's it. Literally, this is just the Beegraphy editor. As you can see, the UI, the family is very familiar if you have used other visual programming environments. If you have not, I recommend that you take a look at our Introduction to Parametric Modeling playlist. There's going to be a card popping up somewhere on the corner right now. And but it's very easy, it's very intuitive, it's very familiar, and you will have a very easy time connecting with the way the Beegraphy editor allows you to model to model things in 3D. All right, beautiful. So with this, I just wanted to make like a simple example. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to save everything. Any kind of changes that you make are already saved in the file, in the cloud, in the dashboard. inside of Beegraphy, so no need to worry about this. And then what I would like to do is now I would like to make a couple hands-on exercises to practice and to perhaps do more sophisticated modeling. To do more sophisticated modeling here in Beegraphy. Okay, so let's move on to the next video in this playlist, where I'm going to teach you how to model a necklace, for example, full of pearls, right? Using the Beegraphy editor. All right, let's take a look at how to do that. See you in the next video. Bye. Fantastic. Beautiful. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. And then we have, oh, I love this feature. I still love it. I love it so much. All right. Okay. Now, question. Should I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to keep the window here on the left-hand side, because since I'm here on the right-hand side, it's probably easier to see things. Or maybe not. Because if I have the thing here, and if I have the thing here, maybe it's a little easier? Maybe it is? I don't really know. Yeah, maybe I can leave it like this. Why not? This is how the Beegraphy folks designed it. So why not? Just give it, we can give it a try. All right. Okay. Beautiful. So we're going to go on to the next video, where we're going to record a pearl necklace. Okay? So
Did you know that by giving to our campaign earlier rather than later, you will have a much greater impact?
Okay. Hi. This is beautiful. And why do I not have... Okay. Hi. There you go. This is Jose Luis. Okay. So for this one, I will record the introduction at the end when we have the model ready. And in the meantime, and then after that, I'm going to start with the modeling part. I'm going to start with the modeling part. Yes, I'm going to start with the modeling part. So can Beegraphy import 3D models in? Ooh, great question. My understanding is that as of right now, it cannot. But I believe the Beegraphy team is working on some form of input, model input. Hi, Henry Clark. All right, so so what am I going to do? So I'm going to make a pearl necklace. Yeah, I'm going to make a pearl. Well, I mean, I already have the example from the last live stream. So what I would like to do is I will just go here and then create a model. Hey, Paul. Hi, how you doing? And then I'm going to create a new model and then just going to start working right away. But again, I need to record the intro at the end of the video. So I'm going to start first by explaining what are we doing. Wow, I recorded this video 3 years ago. Look, I look so young. Oh my God. Oh boy. Also, folks, have you noticed that we're already almost at 20,000 followers? Thank you, thank you. You folks are awesome. All right, so let's get started. Beautiful. Let's get started. But before we start, I would like to remind everyone that this is an exercise, the pearl necklace. This is an exercise that we've already done in this channel in this other visual programming environment called Grasshopper. So if you want to learn about the way, the logic, and how do we break down a curve into parts, etc., I already explained how to do it in this video. Where is the logic about the diameter of the balls and the splitting of the curve, etc. So if you want to learn more, I recommend that you check this video, whose link is going to be in the description of this video, and is also going to be popping up as a card somewhere on the top of the corner in this video. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to go to the Beegraphy editor. All right, and if you remember this, we are here at Beegraphy, so I'm already logged in to my account. I'm going to go to the editor and I'm going to create a new model called Pearl Necklace Life. All right, beautiful. Then we're going to land in the Beegraphy editor, which we have already explained in the previous video. So in this series. So the first thing that we're going to do is, if you remember from this video on how to model a pearl necklace, is that the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create some kind of curve, which is going to be basically the axis, if you will, of the necklace, and then we will subdivide that curve into however many pearls do we want, and we will decide what the radius of those pearls should be. All right. So Beegraphy, as of right now, does not come with geometry import capabilities. So it's a purely standalone parametric modeler. So you can't really import models yet. My understanding is that the team is working on that right now. But the thing that we can do is we can, inside of Beegraphy, we can add a modeler for this parametric curve that we want to control. All right. So the way we're going to do that is by, I'm going to type control points, and actually let me, no, where is this? Give me 1 second. Where was the control points? Where was the, how did we create the curves? Surface primitive curve, interpolate, input, here, curve editor, exactly, curve editor. Yes, so if we go to input, inside of inputs, we have sliders, we have Boolean inputs, etc. And we have this really nifty, very nice input called the curve editor. The curve editor is basically this UI-based editor that allows me to drag and drop the control points of a NURBS curve, and then I can use that to model a curve in 2D. All right, you can see that whatever I'm modeling is showing up here on the view. Okay, so what are we going to do? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding here a few more control points. And then I'm going to close the curve, which I'm going to close here. Okay, so I'm going to move it here. I'm going to add more points. And all right, and I do that by double clicking here. Okay, so you can see how I'm adding all these points and I'm dragging them over here. Okay, so we can probably start with, you can probably start with this. Is this a shape that we like? Well, I don't know that I'm very excited about it, but it's okay. It serves the point. Okay, so again, we use this component called curve editor that gives us this really nice UI to control the control points of a nerves curve. All right, once we do that, we have the curve here. We can actually see the data that is flowing in and out of components by using the panel component. The panel component is basically a debug tool that allows you to see what is coming out of a set of components, for example, right? Beautiful. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this curve and we're going to subdivide it by a controlled amount of points. Those are going to be the center of the pearls that we're going to use to populate this necklace. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say divide by count, and you can see that right now I have this divide by count a curve. So I'm going to plug in the curve here, and you can see that I already subdivided it in 4 elements. Well, but I do want to have control over that, so I'm going to just say here range input, and I'm going to place here a slider. But this slider, I'm going to configure it so that it can only snap to whole values, so to integers, right? And the maximum is going to be 50, for example. And the value is going to be 10. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to say here number of pearls. All right, beautiful. I'm going to plug this in here, and you can now see that the more pearls, the more subdivisions, the more points I get. One very nice feature about Beegraphy is that I can now go onto the window and I can click on an element. And if I click on the element, it will tell me where is that element coming from. So you can see that basically the UI just zoomed into divide by count, which is the component that is creating all these points here. This is a really, really nice feature because very often we have a lot of geometry on the viewport and we don't know which components are generating that geometry. So this idea of clicking and seeing and highlighting which component is creating that geometry, I find it a very useful feature. All right, beautiful. So now we have the points. We have also the tangents at the curve on those points. We have the parameter, so the value from 0 to 1 or other that is telling us where those points are on the curve. So what I would like to use now is these points as the center of the pearls that I'm going to create. So I'm going to go here and say sphere. I'm going to create a bunch of spheres in this origin. Okay, and you can see that right now it created all these spheres right there, and you can actually see that it feels like they're almost tangent to each other. So I'm actually going to go to top view, and you can see that they're actually pretty tangent to each other except for some areas here. But this is misleading because actually if I were to increase or decrease, it was just a coincidence, right? Right now the radius of the sphere is a hard-coded value. But what we need to do is we need to estimate what that radius should be based on the length of that curve. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the curve, we're going to calculate its length, we're going to divide the length by the amount of pearls, and that should be the diameter, not exactly, but approximately the diameter of each one of these pearls. All right. So easy peasy. So we have the curve. We need to calculate the length of the curve. So how am I going to do that? I see that I type length here and I get this component called curve length. Okay, so I'm going to now go here and I get the length, and I'm just going to drop a panel just to see what's going on here. And I can see that the length of this curve is 652 units, whatever those units are. all right? And then I'm going to subdivide that length by the amount of pearls that I have. So I could do, excuse me, I could do that numerically using the math components here, but you already know me. You actually know that I like expressions. So here in inputs, there is the math expression component that allows me to write a mathematical equation that gets evaluated, right? So here, I'm going to plug in the length, and then here, I'm going to create another input. And how did I create more inputs? Yes, so here, add port, you see that I click on one of the inputs and I clicked on add port, all right? So the number of pearls is going to be here. And then what I would like to do is I would like to say the result of this needs to be the length divided by the amount of pearls. But actually, because what I want is the radius, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 2 times the amount of pearls, all right? The number that I'm going to get is going to be whatever, 40, right? And then that is the number that I'm going to feed here to the radius of this sphere. And you can see that now they are a little bulgy, right? And at the areas where I have a lot of curvature, it's not very natural, all right? So maybe I can reduce those stream curvatures. But if you can also see that if I increase the number of points, now the size of the pearls adapts correspondingly, which is also quite nice, okay? Beautiful. So we have pretty much completed the exercise here, all right? The only thing that I would like to do is I would like to perhaps beautify a little bit the output that we get on the viewport, because you can see that the default shader is this kind of like random colors for each one of the pearls. What I would like to do is I would like to change that to something a bit more steady, a bit more controllable, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to material, to apply materials. And this is basically a component that allows me to create a material and apply it to any kind of geometry, right? So for example, here to the spheres, I'm going to apply this like, I don't know what it is, the color, I guess can I create a color picker? Yes, so I'm going to create a color picker, and that's going to be some kind of orange here. All right, and then the color is going to be orange, you see? Or if I make it green, then green it is, you see? And now things are a little more homogeneous, all right? Another thing that I would like to do to beautify this a little more is that you can see that now I have modeled the spheres, but I still see the dots, the centers of those spheres, the points that I used to create the spheres. So I know that if I click here, it's sphere, the origin is this divided by count. So something that I can do is I can hide this component so that it doesn't show up on the pre-visualization here. Okay? Beautiful. All right. And I think with that, I am pretty much done. All right. Now, you may ask yourself, all right, you created the parametric modeling editor. Now we have all the pearls, but now I want to download them because I want to now render them in some software. I want to 3D print them, whatever. How do I do that? Well, that's a very good question. And I would like to address that question farther down the road in this series of videos when we start talking about the market. Okay, it's not necessarily that you need that, but if you're interested in that, circle back into the next video or in 2 or 3 videos in this series when we talk about exporting geometry and publishing models to the market. Okay, until then, I think the next video in this series is going to be another hands-on example to just give you a sense of how the Beegraphy editor works. Okay, we're probably going to model the Holocaust the Berlin Holocaust Memorial in the next exercise. All right, beautiful. Okay, well, then see you on the next video. Bye bye. Beautiful. I couldn't find the name of the possible textures in the documentation. I'm not sure what you mean. String, the name of the texture available in the BGPM texture library. Good question, Yasin. I don't know what that means either, but maybe the team, the Beegraphy team, if they're online, can answer that question. What is meta? UV mapping texture. Ooh, cool. All right, so I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to go to the next video. Okay. YouTube, parametric camp, Berlin, Holocaust. Okay. Oh my God, I'm so young. So young. Mm, 6:22. Oh, I have to record the intro. Oh, I forgot. I have to record the intro. All right. So let's record the intro. Okay. So the intro to the video. What am I going to say? Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video in this mini series crash course on the Beegraphy platform, or I'm not even sure how we're going to call this playlist at this point. But in this first hands-on exercise, what I would like to do is to practice modeling something with the Beegraphy editor. And for this video, I've chosen a very simple exercise, modeling a pearl necklace. Okay, and as you can see, we have modeled it with the Beegraphy editor, including this very nice and very nifty curve editor for the shape of the necklace, as well as introducing parameters for the amount of pearls. You can see that as I change things, the number of elements is updating, and you can see that here in the viewport, I can rotate and see the results of my parametric model. And again, for those of you who might be new to the channel, what's really interesting is that everything that I'm doing right here is purely web-based, using my browser. No downloads, no installs, no nothing. Everything is cloud-based, web-based, which is really, really nice. Okay, so if you want to learn how I made this, just stay here with us in the video. And in the meantime, if you like what we do, maybe you want to consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, all those things that we do these days in nice YouTube communities. All right. All right. How are we going to do this? Let's take a look. Fantastic. Okay. And all right. And then here. Oh my God. Who placed all these ads here on the channel? Huh? Okay. Beautiful. So now we're going to do the Berlin Holocaust Memorial. Same thing. Let me actually go back here and take a look at how we did this. Oh, and this was the whole fuss that we made for either random or not random. Rectangular grid. How did we do this? Untitled group, spacing. extrude curve vector by 2 points, and the extrusion was coming from a sine wave, and then we were capping it, or the extrusion was coming from a random number list, random number generator. And this was, maybe I can also point to the version when I did this in the live stream if people want to learn more about how to use these random heights, whatever. Okay. All right. So the way we're going to record this video is we're going to what? We are going to go there. We're going to record the intro later, and then we're just going to do the same thing. I'm going to introduce the exercise from the other videos, and then I'm just going to go in, create the file on the dashboard. I'm going to then start step by step, creating the rectangular grid, creating the rectangles, and then writing the algorithm for the curvature. Okay. Okay. Before we start, as with the previous exercise, I would like to remind you that we have done this exercise, the Berlin Holocaust Memorial exercise, in this channel previously. We've done it in a different modeling editor called Grasshopper. But if you want to learn more about the thinking process and the modeling process, you can go to this video. The link is going to be in the description of this video, and there will be a card popping up in the description as well. And in this video, I also explain the methodology of how we're going to create these boxes. However, I'm going to use a slightly different methodology in this video for the reasons that I will explain as soon as I start getting into the meat of the exercise. Okay, beautiful. So we're going to do just like we do with any model in Beegraphy. I'm going to go to my dashboard. I'm already logged in with my account, and then I'm going to create a new model, and I'm going to call this Berlin Memorial Life. Okay, and I'm going to create a new empty model. How am I going to start? Well, if you remember from the image that I showed before, the memorial is basically a collection of concrete blocks that have roughly the shape of a box. And what makes the monument interesting is that the height, they're all arrayed in this kind of grid-like manner, but the height of each one of the boxes is variable. It differs, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a grid of points, roughly a rectangular grid of points, and then we're going to create blocks in each one of those points, right? We're going to create boxes. And once we have done that, then we will modify the algorithm so that the height of each one of those boxes is different based on some kind of rule. So let me get started with that then. So first of all, I'm going to create a grid of points, which I'm going to use as the basis for rectangles that I will extrude into boxes. How do I start creating a grid of points? So I don't know. Let's imagine I'm fairly new to the editor. I'm going to double click and say, I need something like a grid. Okay. All right. So I'm going to search grid, and it turns out that I have a rectangular grid. So that's pretty useful. And you can see that I already have here this kind of preview of the grid with the origin, width, length, how many elements in each one, etc., etc. So that's pretty nice. All right. So I'm going to start adding sliders here. So range input. So that's going to be what? Something from 0 to 100. And that's going to be the width. And I'm going to copy and paste this. And this is going to be the length. I'm going to make this very long. So I'm going to make this larger. All right, beautiful. And then something that I want to do as well is the amount of elements in each direction. For those, I want inputs that are integers, but the way I do that is by customizing the input to only snap to increments of 1. So I'm going to say here that this slider is going to go from 0 to 50. All right, and I'm going to do 30 of these elements. And then here, I'm going to do another 30 in the y direction. And you can see that I already have a lot of elements here. So I think I'm going to lower the count just for the sake of like having like a bit more responsive, faster modeling environment. So for example, 10 and 5. Okay, beautiful. Now, what you can see is that this particular rectangular grid gives me width, length, x count, and the padding. The padding is basically the gap between rectangles, and that it gives me both the center points and the curves. So the curves are going to be those rectangles that I can extrude, right? Now, we could go with this. We could just control the padding, right? And then if I were to control the padding, then basically I will be controlling how the distance between them. But I don't personally like that a lot because the distance then has to be the same in both directions, x and y, and it feels like I have less control. So I kind of like better to, let's say, control the width and the height of each box independently, regardless of where they are, right? You can also notice that the moment I make the gap bigger, the entire grid also enlarges. So I could go for that, but and also for the sake of practicing things, I'm going to ignore the curves that are coming out of the component, and I'm just going to work with the points only, right? I'm going to use the points as the center of a collection of rectangles. So for example, rectangle by center, okay? And I'm going to use the points as the origins. And then for width and height, I'm going to copy some range input. So this is going to be the width, which is going to be something like this. And this is going to be the length, all right? And then I'm going to get all these curves. I'm going to turn this off, okay? And you're going to see that now I have these tiny rectangles that I need to increase. And I think I probably need to make some of these smaller. Yes, exactly. I may need to increase this to 50. Okay. Okay, so 50, and then here 50 to, okay. So now I can increase this. Exactly. So now I have more, you see what I mean with this? I have more fine control over the size of each one of the boxes independently. Okay, which I kind of like better. I like control when I'm doing parametric modeling. All right, beautiful. So I now have a grid of rectangles, and I'm going to start moving things here to the left-hand side so that I have all my inputs right here. Something that we can do with the editor is we can group things. So for example, I'm going to create a group, and this is going to be called grid parameters. And I'm going to create another group here. I'm going to click on create group, and I'm going to double click and say this is going to be called box parameters. All right. And at some point I will add names here for what each thing is. Okay. But now, so I have rectangles in 2D, but I want boxes. So I'm going to want to extrude each one of these rectangles. So I'm going to go here, and is there any kind of extrude? Yes, there is extrude here. So I'm going to extrude the curve, for example, and I'm going to take all these rectangles, and the vector is going to be, I don't know what there's here by default, is a vector with 10 units, vertical 10 units, okay? I can work with that. So for example, let's say that I'm going to leave it like this, all right? Like a 10 or not. Actually, let me create a vector. Vector in the z direction, and the factor is going to be what? It's going to be some kind of value from 0 to 50, okay? This is going to be temporary. And this is going to be just temporary. Okay, because what I want is, yes, just to start with a bunch of boxes that are all the same height. You can see that these boxes, though, are empty. So I'm only extruding the curve, and therefore I only have the shell, the boundary shell, if you will. So something that I would want to do is I would want to cap those surfaces and close them up. Okay, and then you see that the moment I do this, then now they are closed on the top and on the bottom. All right, beautiful. So therefore I can stop and hide these folks and then just keep the boxes that I have extruded. All right, beautiful. Okay, this is looking great so far. Now, however, I'm going to need to extend this exercise to make something where the height of each one of the boxes is variable, all right, according to the design of the original monument. How are we going to do this? Well, it turns out that as of right now, the Beegraphy editor doesn't have inputs for importing geometry. So in the previous video, in the other video that I pointed as reference, what we did was we modeled a surface and then we calculated the distance between the base of the rectangles and that model surface. In this editor, we can't do that right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come up with some kind of mathematical expression like a sine and a cosine. And we're going to use that expression to calculate the height of the box based on where the box is in the X and Y spaces. Okay, beautiful. So how are we going to do that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each one of the points that are at the base of the rectangles, and I'm going to deconstruct them. Deconstruct point to extract their X and Y coordinates. You can see that by doing that, if I plug a panel here, you can see that what I have now is a collection of 50 X coordinates. So 0, 0, 31, blah, 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 whatever. And the same goes for Y. Okay? So what am I going to do this for? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to design an expression where, given an X value and a Y value, I'm going to do some sines and cosines to calculate basically a wave in 2D for those values. So I'm going to go here to math expression, all right? And then I'm going to add here, add port. So I'm going to add the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, I'm going to multiply the sine of X, okay, times the cosine of Y, all right? And this number is the number that I would use as the height for each one of the panels, each one of the boxes. So if I plug it here, you can see that I get a range of numbers, 2, 2, 2, 2, all right? And so let me now remove this static number and plug in here this, all right? However, the result is pretty disappointing for a couple of reasons. The reasons are that, first of all, I hit a bunch of zero values. So those are a bunch of rectangles that are basically no height. And because I'm working with sines and cosines, some values are positive, some values are negative, and most of the values are actually pretty small, basically in the range of -1 to +1. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to massage these numbers a little bit so that we introduce some factors to amplify and correct these numbers so that the range of values is much closer to the actual dimensions of these boxes. So how can we do that? So I'm going to add a new port, okay, and I'm going to add a new port and that I'm going to call Z, okay. I'm going to add another port that is going to be called I. The names of these ports are automatically generated by the system, okay. And how can I add another port? Yes, okay. So I'm going to say that C is going to be some kind of base height, all right. So I'm going to say this is going to be this slider from 0 to 50, and it's going to be C, and I'm just going to add here this base value. So any box is going to be this base height, so for example 20, plus whatever variation. All right. Now we can see that the variation is very small. Most numbers are in the 20 to 19 to 21 range. Still not a lot, okay? But at least we have solved the zero problem. What we can do now is basically we can amplify the values of x and y by some factor. So for example, what I can do is I'm going to say that this is going to be the wave strength in the x direction, all right? And I'm going to say that I'm going to multiply this here, and I'm going to say that this is going to be that, and then I'm going to multiply this by the entire thing. What that is doing, it is actually in the z. What that is doing is basically multiplying all these numbers here that oscillate between -1 and 1 by the value of 10. So then now the range of values is actually much larger. So you can see that we get numbers 23, 24, 17, 25. So the amplitude and the difference between these faults is much, much larger. Okay? And then something else that we can do is we can modulate these two values so that the waves have a different amplitude. So I'm just going to add here, for example, another couple of ranges. So range input. Okay, so range input. So something is not working right now. So let me see what's going on. Yes, so I'm just going to click here range, and I'm going to get a new input, and then this is going to go here too, and then this one is going to go here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide x by j, and I'm going to divide y by k. All right, and in doing that, now what I can do is I can modulate, for example, this range, and you can see that the variability is going to be much larger. All right, so you see that we get this kind of effect of increased variability. I don't know how to pronounce that. All right, cool. Let's increase a few elements. Like let's do 15 in this direction. Let's do 10 in this direction. No, 120, no. Okay, 120 is a lot. The app is going to take some time to recalculate. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Oh boy, look, look, look. Yes, so I'm going to do just 10. Exactly. And then, yeah, it's a much more feasible number. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I think with this, I think we are pretty much done, aren't we? Well, I'm going to, for the sake of visualization, I'm going to add a material as we did in the other example. I'm going to add here some kind of color, and the color is going to be gray, just because I guess the original memorial is made of concrete. So we're going to make them a little grayish. All right. And I'm going to also hide the rectangles at the base. And I think that's probably a good place to end the exercise here. Okay. Beautiful. So we have something that resembles the Berlin Holocaust Memorial. And I think this has been a pretty good exercise in all also to see what kind of options we have with the Beegraphy editors in terms of modeling. A grid of points, rectangles, extrusions, etc., etc. Okay? Now, again, as we said in the previous video, what now? So I have the model and I want to somehow download it and export it and 3D print it or render it in some other software. What do I do with this now? So that's exactly what I would like to address in the next video, where we're going to talk about how to export models in Beegraphy and also how to connect them with one of the coolest features of the Beegraphy platform, which is the market. Okay, so if you're interested in how to do that, come see us in the next video. And in the meantime, maybe like this video, subscribe to the channel, say hi on the comments, etc., etc. All right. Thank you very much and see you on the next video. Bye bye. Beautiful. All right. So, so, so what? So what now? So what now? Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, I had a sleepy morning today. What are we going to do? We have to record the intro to this video. Okay, that's very important. We have to record the intro to this video. And what else? And that's it, pretty much. What if I do it like this? That's cool, huh? Alrighty. Okay, so let's start like this. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video in our series Crash Course to the Beegraphy platform. I think that's going to be the name. So in this video, what I would like to do is I would like to do a hands-on exercise where we're going to try to model the Berlin Holocaust Memorial, which if you already know me from this channel, you know that it's an exercise that I really like as an introduction to parametric modeling. So the way we've done it in the Beegraphy platform, the Beegraphy editor, is by basically creating this parametric definition where we create a grid of points, we place rectangles, we extrude them, and we give them variable height based on some sines and cosines functions. Okay, so you can see that everything is parametric, and that if I were to change any of the inputs, then the whole model will basically readapt to it. Okay, as you can see right there. Beautiful. So if you want to learn how we did this, then just hang out in the video. Let's get right into it. Okay, fantastic. So now the market, okay, very important. So how do we do the market? Because I haven't tried it yet. Wave strength and wave strength Y. Box parameters. I'm going to say box width. This is important because when you go to the market, it's important to have everything labeled. So grid parameters, grid width, grid height, elements in X, elements in Y. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I haven't done this before. I mean, I tinker, but let's try it together, okay? But actually, let's try it with not with this model, but with the other model that I had here, okay? So this one. So if I were to now say configurator, so this is basically what I get here, and then I cannot. Oh, I can download. Oh, oh, oh. I can download because I did set up an exporter. Okay, but if I don't have an exporter, then there's no download button. Okay, so I can move this colors through the viewer. Okay, back. And all right, but now I have, if I have this, there's no undo button. Okay. And how do I publish to the market? Demo. What is demo? Oh, okay. So this is what it's going to look like. And how did I publish to the market? My models, Berlin Holocaust Memorial, editor, viewer. Okay. Viewer configurator. So that's what I did before. Publish. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's probably going to put it in the market. Yes, sharing is permission URL. Copy link. Oh, what is this? No access, viewer, copy link, and then if I open Chrome with a different account, like a guest mode, internal server error. Oh, we're not gonna try this then. Okay. Viewer editor. Okay, and then maybe I needed to close the window. Nope. Guest mode. No. So it looks like this is not working right now. So we're not gonna get into that yet then. Duplicate, rename, delete. Okay. So okay, so we're gonna call this video exporting and publishing models. And the intro is going to be, I'm going to show you how in the Beegraphy marketplace, I published the Berlin Holocaust Memorial, the Holocaust Memorial exercise, how I published it, and I'm going to show you the steps that I took in order to get there. Okay, beautiful. So that's going to be the intro. And then here, this is going to be Beegraphy. This is the model, okay? So Berlin Memorial Life, okay? Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Thank you, Lernick. So if I share a link with someone else, that someone else needs to be logged in their own account to be able to see my model. Okay, I see what you mean. All right, beautiful. So let's get started. still thinking. Gathering my thoughts. Okay, so as I said, let's talk about how to download, export, and share models that we have created with the Beegraphy editor. So I'm going to go back to the Berlin Memorial Life model that I did in the previous video. You can see that I have here my model, I have my boxes, so I'm very happy with this result and I'm ready to download it and use it. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, there's several ways you can do that. The first one is setting up an exporter for whatever geometry or whatever output in the entire definition you are interested in downloading. So in this case, the boxes that I have are somewhere here. So these are the boxes that I extruded. No, they're actually these ones here. These are the ones that are capped, right? Whether if I'm applying the material or not, that doesn't, this is only for visualization, but the actual geometry that I'm interested in is here. So you may have noticed that in the editor, we have this exporter, which basically allows me to download files in STEP, STL, OBJ, DXF, or IGES, right? Because these are just simple boxes, I can go, for example, with an STL exporter, all right? And then I'm just going to plug it in here, all right? But now, okay, so what do I do now here? Like, how do I actually download anything? Where is the download button? I don't see it. Well, you don't see it because the way Beegraphy handles this is that it basically allows you to wrap an entire definition into what they call a published model. All right. This published model basically means taking all these components and all these definitions and all these functions, blah, 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 and wrapping them into a viewer where you have access only to what's important in your definition. In this case, probably the sliders that are generating all the configuration for the model and the downloading of whichever parts are interesting for you, right? So how does that work? I'm going to go all the way here to the left corner and I'm going to click on the configurator on the top right. The configurator is basically a preview of this interactive window that gives you a summary of what's important and hides all the model away, right? You can see that immediately what I have gotten here is a pre-populated set of a bunch of things, right? So what the Beegraphy editor does is it goes into your definition and it takes anything that could be considered as an input. So sliders, but not only slider, for example, remember the color picker that I was using for the rendering, or remember the equation that I set up for the math. All of this is now provided as an auto-populated UI. And I'm actually gonna wait. Let me move myself to the other side of this. Yeah, let me move myself here. So now you can see that I have a pre-populated. You can also see that all these sliders are grouped by name. So you can see that when I was making my model, I actually was very diligent about taking a bunch of sliders and grouping them by some kind of name, grid parameters, box parameters. So this, as you can see, is not only useful for me, for my mental sanity, it's also really useful to organize inputs, then for the configurator to group them based on interest, right? And you can see that, however, they are sorted in whichever way. Fortunately, we can actually edit that. So you can see that if I go here to the edit button, in the input list, I can say, well, remember the color picker for the concrete? This is something that people should not be able to change. All right, so I'm going to just turn it off. Now, I'm going to bring grid parameters first, which I think is the most important. Then I'm going to bring box parameters first, which I think is the second most important, and then wave parameters. Okay. If I apply this, you can see that now things are sorted in a much more useful and rational way, let's put it this way. But you can see that I still have the math expression editor here, which I don't think people should touch. All right, so I'm going to also turn this off All right, and now people who visit my model are not going to be able to see or tinker with that. But this is fantastic because now I know that I have like, I can change this here. I can add more elements here, right? And then my model is going to adapt to those changes. Beautiful. You can also see that I have a download button. Where is that download button coming from? Well, let me close the configurator. Imagine that I did not have the STL exporter. I'm going to delete this, right? If I did that and I went to the configurator, you can see that now there's no download button. There's no download button because Beegraphy doesn't know exactly from all the stuff that I have in my parametric model, all these boxes and all these functions. It doesn't know which one is the one that I'm interested in. So that's why being purposeful about telling the editor, hey, I want to export this geometry that is coming out from this. So I'm going to set up an STL exporter here, and I'm going to call this download boxes, for example. All right. And if I go now to the configurator, you can see that in the download button, you can see that I have downloaded this STL file. And if I now open, for example, I'm going to open Rhino. Excuse me. If I now open Rhino and I drag this STL file, you can see that, yes, it opens the file, no problem. And that I have in my file all those boxes that now I can render, I can export, I can 3D print, I can do whatever I want with them. Okay, beautiful. Now, why is this configurator so interesting? Because the configurator is a way of wrapping your definition with this UI that people who don't have knowledge of parametric model, who might get scared by all this spaghetti of components connected to each other, this is a way to wrap this in a very nice, neat way, where I'm giving you the things that I want you to be able to change, and I'm giving you a button to download whatever is important about this definition, right? Everything else for the regular user should not be available, right? So I can demo what that looks like in the demo button, and I can see that now I have the UI the way people will see it. So the wave parameters, I can change a bunch of things here, right? The box parameters, I can make the boxes a little larger in this direction, right? And then, are you done? Yes, download the thing. And can you download boxes? Can you download high? Can you download blah, 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 all these options, and then just download the model. All right, fantastic. Why do I have export option? Because actually your definition may have different things that you may want to export. In the pearl necklace, for example, we may want to export the spheres, but we may also want to export the curve independently, right? So we may actually have different exports and allow the user to choose what is it that they want to export, right? Fantastic. So you can see that in our demo, we can see that our modeling app, and now it's less than an editor, it's more than an app. It looks good, it feels good, it has just what we want, everything is properly labeled, everything has names about what it is. So my OCD is very happy right now with this, right? Now the question is, how can we then make this accessible to the entire world, not just people with a Beegraphy account or with the knowledge of Beegraphy, etc. So the way we do that is by publishing those models to the market. What does that mean? So this is the Berlin Memorial Live. I have already configured it. I have already cleaned it. I have already the configurator and the demo ready to go. So what I can do now is I can publish this model. By publishing this model, I can say, for example, let's give it a name, Berlin Holocaust Memorial, and this is going to be parametric camp demo, for example, and I'm going to say quick demo of the Beegraphy editor plus market recorded live on parametric camp. Okay. So category, I don't know, architecture. We can do architecture. And another one, gaming, industrial design. Yeah, why not? All right, beautiful. Tags, we're going to leave it as it is. Free is going to be licensed, etc. It's going to be production ready, intended material. Oh, so that's for fabrication. We're not going to, well, and we're going to publish this. All right. So, chosen non-commercial requires attribution, for example. So I'm going to publish this. All right. And then you can see that I think I published this somewhere. And this one now, yep. So you can see that now the model is here. And if I actually go to Beegraphy, beegraphy.com, all right, I'm going to go to the market. And in the market, you can see that I have all the models that I can browse. And I'm actually going to click on See All, and I'm going to filter non-moderated models, which is the one that I just created. You can see that the Berlin Holocaust Memorial showed up here. And if I click on it, and you can see that I have the editor, I have the boxes, and I have all the parameters, just like they looked in the configurator once I clean it up. I can go full screen, and then you can see that I can customize everything. I can change things around, and I can download the model. All right. I can download the model, and the model is downloading right now, I think. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. So this is this part. Let me go back to my corner. Yeah. So this is the part that I really like and that I think has the most potential of the entire Beegraphy project. I think the editor is great, but I think the fact that you can so easily, with a bunch of clicks, make this accessible, downloadable to the entire community, even for non-experts, I think that's where this really, really has potential. So imagine how now all these models can be downloaded for people who want to 3D print things, they can adjust the dimensions of things, etc., etc. I think it's a very nice possibility. Okay. Beautiful. I think this is what I wanted to cover with this video, how to take a model in the editor and how to make it accessible, downloadable, and customizable to anyone, right? With this, I think I'm feeling pretty good about this mini crash course on the Beegraphy platform. If in the future I think of recording more videos, I may just add them to this playlist. Why not? But in the meantime, I strongly invite you to check out the Beegraphy platform, to play with it, to join their competition, which is going on right now as we speak, as of July 2024. And if you want to share what you made with Beegraphy, please, by all means, join our Discord. You can find a link on the description of this video, and just go to any of our channels and like share the work that you've done and show us how cool the things are that you can make with Beegraphy. Okay, beautiful. With that, I'm feeling very good about these videos. Thank you very much. And if you liked this video or if you liked this series, make sure to perhaps like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, say hi on the comments, etc., etc. All right. Thank you very much, and see you on the next videos. Bye bye. Oh, I see you. Learning. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And now I'm going to record the introduction. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video in this mini-series, Introduction to the Beegraphy platform. In this video, what I would like to show you is how to go from a parametric model that you have created in the Beegraphy editor, and then how to take whatever geometry you have created here and export it, download it, and publish it into this kind of very clean UI that can be customized for anyone who doesn't have the parametric expertise that you may have, to just go in and change a couple things here and then be able to now say, oh, this is the model that I like, very nice, can I download it? Here, just download the boxes and boom, I'm going to download my STL and now I have my model downloaded in for some kind of other platform to 3D print, to visualize, to render, whatever that looks like for you. All right, it's extremely easy, it's very nice to do, and it's one of the features that I like most about the Beegraphy platform. All right, so let's just dive in. Fantastic. All righty. Woo, that was a lot. Okay, so that's 5 videos we just made. That's going to be a really nice 1 video per day for next week. All right, folks. I'm kind of hungry, and it's 4th of July here, so I feel like I should grill something. So I might just fire the barbecue and start grilling sausages or a steak or whatever. I don't know. Okay, so that was awesome. Thank you everyone for being here today. Give it a try. Beegraphy is great. Their competition is going on. Make sure you take a look and see if there's any category you're interested in joining and submitting a proposal for. And as I said, if you make something cool, make sure you share it with us in the Discord server, okay? We may actually, why not? Maybe we just make a new channel called Beegraphy, right? That would be cool. All right. Okay, so I'm going to then go. I'm probably going to have lunch, and then I'm going to edit these videos and publish them, probably. I may want to do that. And what are we doing next week? Are we going live next week? Can I check my calendar? Give me a second. Any other comments, questions, concerns before we call it a day? Yeah, I think I can go live next week. Yes, we're going live next week. Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, if there's no questions or concerns, thank you very much. And thank you to the Beegraphy team for a very cool product. I'm really fond of it. I think it has tremendous potential. And as I said, I am publicly requesting here, please, 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 can I get alpha, beta, dev access to the API? I would really love that. I really want to tinker with that. I don't need to show it on the channel if you're not ready for public exposure yet, but I'm really fond of APIs. I would love to build some kind of app on top of a Beegraphy model. That would be super cool actually. Thanks everyone, and see you next week. Bye bye.